Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I don't know what time of day it is, where and when you are watching this vlog, but all you need to know is that this vlog is about me finally starting the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas. Y'all, I've been sleeping on this series, okay? I read ACOTAR last year, 2 years ago. I don't really remember when, but all you need to know is that I adore ACOTAR series. It is my favorite fantasy series. It kind of got me back into reading, not just fantasy, but reading in general. And I was hooked. Sarah J Maas's writing is just unlike any other, and she immerses you into these amazing worlds, and you feel like you are really there. Like, I felt like I was part of the crew in ACOTAR, and it has taken me a while to finally pick up this series, but I was just nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous that reading this series I'm either one, not going to like it, two, think differently about Sarah J Maas's writing, which I don't think will ever happen, or three, I'm scared I'm gonna like this more than ACOTAR, which again, I don't think could happen, but you never know. So many people rave about Throne of Glass series, and I was just a little intimidated by it. But I'm finally taking the leap. I'm like, girl, I cannot wait anymore. What really pushed me to read this is because I've been dying to get the Nerdy Ink covers, to put them on my shelf, but I'm like, I can't get the Nerdy Ink covers for books that I haven't even read yet, or what if I don't like them? So I'm forcing myself to read the series before I get the ink covers. So I actually did start reading this last night. Another reason why I wanted to start reading this series is because 6 weeks ago I requested the audio for it on Libby, and last night I got the notification that my Libby book was able to borrow, the audiobook was able to borrow. So I fired the rest of my March TBR out of the window and I picked this one up. I read 3 chapters last night and I can already tell y'all that I am going to enjoy this. That might be a little early or premature for me to say that, but I can tell that this book has very similar styles to ACOTAR. I mean, it is written by the same author, so makes sense, Gabby, but just the female character, you can tell, is going to be one of those strong female characters who takes no crap, who is so strong and brave. And that was one of the things that I loved most about Farah and ACOTAR. And another reason why I liked ACOTAR is because obviously there were hot men and like wingspans and stuff, like crazy. But I feel like that is going to kind of show up in the Throne of Glass series, and I am so excited to get to that point. I'm not going to lie, I kind of went into this series blind. I didn't look up what the story was about or the storyline was about. I knew it had something to do with an assassin, and that's pretty much all I knew. So I'm going to read the synopsis on the back of the dust jacket for anybody who might be interested or who is like lived under a rock and has no idea what Throne of Glass is. I'm just kidding, because clearly I'm only starting it now. I also want to mention that I researched this. I talked to a lot of people who are Throne of Glass and Sarah J Maas fanatics, and by popular vote, I ended up starting with Throne of Glass, and then I'm going to read Assassin's Blade 4th. If you look this up, there are a ton of ways to read this series. As a beginner, most people say to start with Throne of Glass because some things are mentioned in Assassin's Blade that might not make complete sense, and vice versa. It's personal preference. Try it however you want. I also think if I enjoy this series, when I get to that point, there's a tandem read, I believe. So basically it says like, read up to this page and then go to this book and read these pages and then come back to this book. So it's kind of a lot. There is guides to follow and checklists, but I think I might do that because I've heard that's like the best way to read it. Start with Throne of Glass, Assassin's Blade 4th, and then do the tandem read. I am new to this. Do not listen to me because I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what I have found and what I've heard from other people. But anyways, enough about that. Let me read the synopsis for you. It says, nothing is a coincidence. Everything has a purpose. You are meant to come to this castle just as you are meant to be an assassin. When magic has gone from the world and a vicious king rules from his throne of glass, an assassin comes to the castle. She does not come to kill, but to win her freedom. If she can defeat 23 killers, thieves, and warriors in a competition to find the greatest assassin in the land, she will become the king's champion and be released from prison. Her name is Selena Sardothian. The crown prince will provoke her, the captain of the guard will protect her, and a princess from a foreign land will become the one thing Selena never thought she'd have again, a friend. But something evil dwells in the castle, and it's there to kill. When her competitors start dying horribly, one by one, Selena's fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival and a desperate quest to root out the source of the evil before it destroys the world. That is amazing. Like, I don't know, I'm just really enjoying this so far, and y'all, I'm literally only on I just finished chapter 3, so I'm on chapter 4, but I just can tell that it's just going to be one of those books that I get fired into. I know fantasy can sometimes be heavy world building, but I feel like this one is not going to be hard to follow. I did start tabbing my book, and I have my markers to kind of like keep track of who is who, what is what world, but I don't think that this is going to be extremely confusing for me. But if you are nervous about reading fantasy for that reason, and you're like, don't know if you could do the heavy world building, try it. Please just try it. Take that extra step and take notes if you need to, highlight, annotate, because once you understand it, I promise you it's worth it. Okay, checking in. It is now Sunday, March 12th. I think I might have mentioned this earlier in the video, but in case I didn't, my mom came for the weekend. I haven't really seen her since Christmas, and she brought my Oma, so we got to spend like the whole weekend together, which was so nice. I like missed being with her or seeing her. Going from living with your parents to like moving away and not seeing them very often, or like, okay, you move out and your parents live like the next town over or something and you can go visit. My dad lives 7 hours away and my mom lives like an hour and a half away, so I don't get to see them a lot. So when I do, it just makes me so happy. But that was my weekend. I didn't really read. I think I read 2 chapters of Throne of Glass yesterday, but then I ended up taking a nap. So today we're going to try to read as much as we can. And actually at 10:30, I am doing my reading wrap up from February live on my YouTube channel. Gwen from Lavender Mud and Gwendolyn Kinsinger here on YouTube. And Jess from Reading with Jess does reading wrap-ups, but they do a live show, which is such a good idea because it's different than, you know, just talking about the same books you talked about in your TBR in a whole video. But the reason why I decided to do it for February is because I just have not had time to sit down and film and then edit a video. Life with school has just been crazy lately. So I decided that for February, I'm just going to do a reading live wrap up. That's going to be at 10:30. And then for the rest of the afternoon, I plan on just reading Throne of Glass. So for right now, I'm going to go and finally make some breakfast. I'm just going to have some cotton candy grapes and strawberries. And then I'm going to read a little bit of Throne of Glass, get all of my books together for my reading wrap up, and then I'll check back in with you once I have read. I think I'm on chapter 8, so I'll check back in with you once I get to like chapter 20. That sounds like a good chapter to check in because then I have read a good chunk of the book. Right. Well, welcome to the February reading wrap up. I had such a good reading month in the month of February. I'm going to start off giving you a little bit of an overview of what my reading month looked like, and then I will get into discussing all of the books that I have read, a little bit about them, and then I do have a little game kind of at the end of towards the end of the live. Um, so, to start off, I read a total of 12 books in the month of February, which was kind of insane to me. I feel like February and March have been 2 crazy months for me, and that was like a good amount of books to read for 1 month. So, I read 12 books in the month of February. Splitting it up by genres, I read 7 romance books. I read 2 graphic novels, 2 thrillers slash mysteries, and 1 fiction book. And if you see me looking down at all, I have an outline so that I don't forget anything. Okay, time to do a check-in with you. I am home today. It's Tuesday, and we got snow, so my school decided to do a synchronous virtual day. So I'm gonna put you down here. So I'm on my computer. I have it all set up. We don't really start until 9 o'clock, so my students are gonna soon start logging on, and then we're gonna teach virtually. So I'm gonna like do I'll try to show you me teaching at some point, but I'll go through and I'll show you like what a virtual day as a teacher kind of looks like. As far as an update on Throne of Glass, last night I made to page 162, which is chapter 23, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Guys, I feel like this is going to be a new favorite series. I don't feel it, I kind of already know, and I'm not even done the first book. This series just, I feel like, doesn't have that heavy world building so far that fantasy books have. Like, I know in ACOTAR, it was so hard trying to remember who was part of what court and, like, where Night Court fell compared to Perithian. And, I don't know, it was just a lot of world building. And, I mean, they always include the little map at the beginning, which, thank goodness, because I always refer back to those, but I feel like I haven't really had to look at that too much because really the only place that they're talking about so far is Aderlin and Irelia. So I haven't had to reference that too much. There's going to be love interest in this. I just know it. And I feel like Kaol, one of the main characters, reminds me so much of Lucian from ACOTAR, kind of. It's giving me those kind of same vibes, and I just really like him as a main character, one of the main characters so far. And our main character, Selena, she is just, I love her. One of those main characters who I feel like doesn't take any crap and is just so strong and knows what she wants and what she's there for. And in her mind, like, they give her a fake name, and in her mind she keeps saying, like, I am Selena Sardathian. Like, I don't know. Listening to the audiobook, I think, also is enhancing my reading experience of this, so I need to go on and request the next one because I'm sure it takes a while to get those in. But I am loving this so far. I literally am so excited that I decided to pick this one up because I was putting Throne of Glass off for a while. I'm just really excited about this. I cannot wait to finish the series. I can't wait to even finish the first book. But now I'm going to show you a little bit of like what virtual teaching as a teacher looks like on a synchronous day. and hopefully on my breaks I can get more of this read. So I'm showing it over here because there's 2 students who already popped in. Even though we don't start at 9, they love being on virtual. So every time we're on virtual, I just put like a little screen up so that way people can like see it, and then it will say like we're starting soon or something like that. So this is Google Meet. We use that for my school. And then let's go here. So these are the slides that I made. This is our group work ELA. So we'll go through and do all of this together, and then they'll have independent things. So we have like an ER song, because that's we're learning Bossy R in English right now, or in phonics. Then they'll do a word sort. They have to decide if there's an ER, IR, or UR. We're gonna listen to our story, which is called Hollywood Chicken. We'll do a sequencing activity. We're currently learning subject-verb agreement, so we're gonna go over the rules for that. And then there are like 4 slides to practice that. Then they'll go and do their ELA independent work, and we'll stay on for anybody who needs help. So then for math, we have 3 songs that we're gonna listen to. We have a piggy bank, counting activity, and then there's a game we're gonna play. And then they'll also have independent work for that. And then we do this thing called MTSS, so we'll get into small groups and we'll work on that. It's usually a lot of blending. With my group in person, we practice CVCE words and sight words and reading fluency. So that's kind of what a day in my life looks like when we are virtually teaching. I finished, and I rated it a 5-star. I finished this about a week ago, but I haven't had time to really like film my full thoughts. Plus I wanted to sit on it for a little bit, and I've been going through some things mentally, so I just have not wanted to pick up the camera and film, but I needed to because I want you to hear my thoughts on this amazing book. First of all, I'm so excited to continue this series. I mean, I was hooked by like the first couple chapters in this, and I can just tell that this is going to be such a good series. Sarah J Maas does not let you down. Her writing style is so unique. You get entrapped in this like world that she's building, and you know the characters, and you know what they're going through, and you know the world. It's just so good. And this one wasn't as hard to keep up with, like I felt like ACOTAR started, because there wasn't as many characters to remember, and the world wasn't extremely like large. I felt like in ACOTAR I kept having to like pinpoint where I was. This one was not like that. Not saying that the series isn't going to be like that, but felt like that wasn't the case in the first book. Our main character in this one is such a boss. She knows who she is. She knows what she wants. She is coming from the bottom and is working her way up, and she just has so much strength, and it really shows you the power of women. I adored that. I feel like Kayal, one of our other main characters, reminds me so much of Lucien from ACOTAR. He's just one of those protectors, and you can tell that like he really cares for her, even though he shouldn't or might. It's not like kind of was frowned upon. And then we have Dorian, who I'm not really sure how I feel about him yet. I'm not sure what my emotions should be like. But this one was so good. This one followed Selena Sardathian, who was an assassin. She was kind of in like a jail, I kind of pictured it as. A lot of things are happening. The place that she's in right now, the king like banished magic, and he is holding a competition, and whoever wins will become his assassin for him. And she is picked by the king's son, Dorian, to be his champion. She ends up battling all these people, but there's something that's also happening within the kingdom. Also, this like escape in this book, like things that Selena is finding out on her own that nobody else really can follow. There's friendship that builds in this book. I just adored it so much. I cannot wait to read Crown of Midnight. I already requested it on my Libby app, and I'm going to be reading that in April because I will be on my spring break in April. But if you are scared of starting a fantasy series or you're intimidated by Sarah J Maas, I highly recommend starting with Throne of Glass, diving into this series. I mean, I read ACOTAR and it's by far probably my favorite series ever, but this one was, I can already tell, kind of like close, like the writing style, the themes, like it's right there, and it's not heavy world building. So if that's what intimidates you about fantasy, maybe try reading this series. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed this reading vlog. Make sure to give me a subscribe if you want to see more from me. And like always, I will see you all in the next one. Bye, friends.